Top 7 cheap cars that drive like supercars. If it looks like a supercar, talks like a supercar, runs like a supercar, and of course, swims like a supercar, then it is probably a supercar. But does it have to cost like a supercar? Absolutely not. We guess that's one major difference between a duck and a supercar. Are there more? Hey guys, and welcome to Autoverse. Here are the top 7 cheap cars that drive like supercars. Who needs a Ferrari when you could get these cheap options and still cruise on drift? We start with the most expensive and go cheaper down the list. The Lotus Elise. If you like it simple, weightless, and fast, the Lotus Elise is the first car on the list. Our focus is on the second generation Lotus Elise that ran the market show from 2001 to 2010. This car has an exotic build that looks like a first generation supercar in a fair amount of darkness. But other than that, you have a top trim option with a 1.8 liter supercharged 4-cylinder Toyota's 2ZZ-GE. What's more? You can expect a rev up to 8,000 RPM and horsepower of over 200. A 2,000 pound curb weight, the rear wheel drive, and the 6-speed manual transmission just takes your driving experience to a whole new level. We know. It doesn't give you the absurd power you find on the modern Lotus, but on the bright side, this car was the foundation for the new kings of the road like the Hennessy Venom. More than just a legend, the driving experience of past users has moved this car status from car to supercar. It's like a soldier becoming a major after excellent skills in war. And in the war of cars, Lotus Elise is definitely a veteran. Don't take our word for it. A few years ago, Car and Driver magazine ranked the Lotus Elise as one of the best driving cars on the planet. Yes, the planet. If you were a few years earlier, you could get this car by trading hands with past owners for about $25,000. But as we mentioned, its status has gone up in the world. Right now, you need at least $35,000 for this road icon. Elise is elite. Xenos E10. Next on our list of supercars without super dollars is the Xenos E10. The Lotus Elise is definitely cool with its horsepower of 200. Wait till you feel the 350 horsepower in the Xenos E10. Did someone say 350? Yes, 350 with a power upgrade thanks to the 2.3 liter turbocharged EcoBoost 4-cylinder. This is for the higher trim of the Xenos, the E10R. Even the lower trim of this model gives you some joy on the road. The cheaper E10 and E10S are a bit downgraded, but you still have a 2-liter engine for your troubles. Does 0 to 60 in 5 seconds sound like a supercar to you? Remember what we said about a car that drives like a supercar? Yes, we are back to that. Besides the super acceleration, the E10 down to the base model promises a top speed of over 130 miles per hour. A 2,000 pound curb weight means it is light on the road. So you have the Xenos E10 that is fast but not furious. Thanks for that. It is definitely a car for your affordable options, but if you are wondering why it is not a popular option, here's a sad fact. The manufacturing company went extinct and disappeared faster than the car's top speed, but they left behind a few cars for worthy collections. While the Xenos E10 is more common in the European market, you can still get your hands on a few rare left in the US used market. $20,000 will get you this beauty of a design, and zoom you go. Porsche 9CM68. The Porsche 968 is what you would call the overlooked model, but it is what we would call a genius mistake. Everything about this next car makes your road trip exciting. The Porsche 968 is not the most popular pick amongst Porsche lovers. That is thanks to more expensive alternatives such as the cool looking 993 and the 911. But if you're looking for something on the lower end of the dollar, this Roadrunner with its 4-cycle transaxle with 236 horsepower is definitely for you. Don't let the water-cooled look fool you. This is a rear-wheel drive with 0 to 60 in about 7 seconds. The 6-speed manual transmission also increases the driving experience. Almost the same type of experience you get from a Lamborghini. Yes, almost the same. The curb weight of 3,020 pounds and the top speed of 156 miles per hour is a combination that keeps you going fast, smoothly, and lightly. You can get this car with less than $20,000 even though it lasted only 4 model years. Here's a fun fact you will not need anywhere. The Porsche 968 was originally intended as a next generation 944, but the company had a lot of changes installed. At the end of it all, they just went with another name. It's exactly why we call it a genius mistake. The Boxster has replaced the model with its mid-engine offer, but it is still a worthy collection for your supercar imitators. Corvette C4. We're going to car prices ranging from about 10 grand to below 10 grand, but don't let that disturb you. This next car on our list is a joy to behold. The C4 is not exactly what you call a fan favorite in the Corvette generation. Some will say it is neither a new generation nor one of the classics, but for whatever reason, we know that this car with its 5.7 liter V8 engine has the word super hidden somewhere. The earlier models of this car, the 1984 to 1986 generation, give you a cheaper L83 producing about 205 horsepower. The 1992 C4 LT1 specs produce about 300 horsepower. If that does not do it for you, the ZR1 spec offers more than 400 horsepower. You know what they say about American muscle? It is a combination of raw power and expert handling skills. This car offers a rear-wheel drive with a 4-speed automatic transmission to aid your handling skills. With 0 to 60 in under 7 seconds and a top speed of 180 miles per hour, it certainly counts as fast and super for some. Depending on the model, the curb weight ranges from 3,120 to 3,500 pounds, which adds to its experience. If you have one of these, you have a potential collectible in your hands. You can have the earliest model for about 8 to 9 grand if you want one. The high-end ZR1 specs go for about 12 grand. The C4 is gradually creeping into the league of classics, so the investment is a smart around it. The 6-cylinder engine producing over 200 horsepower was a major plus for this car. It had a front-engine rear-wheel drive with 6 or 5 manual transmissions. The soft-top version, the E85, gives you a top speed of 136 miles per hour from 0 to 60 in 8 seconds, while the coupe, the E86, promises 155 miles per hour as top speed and 0 to 62 in just 6 seconds. Close your eyes and think of a Miata without the stigma, and you get a Z4. The good thing about this car is that there are enough of them in the used market. With 6 or 7 grand in your wallet, this beauty goes into your garage. Audi TT. What do you call a car equipped with Audi's Quattro 4-wheel drive system, primarily a front-wheel drive but with some power to the rear wheels? What do you call a car with 247 horsepower with a 3.2-liter V6 engine? You call it an Audi TT, but we just prefer to call it a supercar in disguise. The earlier models had a 1.8-liter turbo engine producing about 150 horsepower, but an upgrade was a welcome addition for later models. The upgrade led to the 247 horsepower engine. It might not sound impressive, but the Fit is a tempting offer for the used market sale price of about 7 grand. If luxurious interiors are a thing for you, then the Audi TT is a pick. You also get the same platform as the Audi A3. The TT is a cool alternative to the more expensive Audi's R8. 0 to 60 in 7 seconds with 136 miles per hour as the top speed. This might just be what your super garage is missing. Notice that this is the first 4-wheel drive on the list. Yes, it is different and unique, but wait till you see our number 1 on the list. Before that, here are some honorable mentions. Let's see if any of them ring a bell. Porsche Boxster with its great handling and mid-engine layout. A turbo 2.5-liter engine with 217 horsepower and a curb weight of 2,800 pounds. The Audi R8 with its flair and super look. It has a V8 Quattro engine producing 532 horsepower with a top speed of 187 miles per hour. Lotus 7. To our number 1 cheapest car that drives like a supercar, ladies and roadrunners, we introduced the Lotus 7 replica. The last car on this list is a bit of a wild card, and like wild cards in any game, this car could be whatever you want it to be. The original Lotus 7 was a kit car with a small aluminum paneled build. The large wheel covers that were part of its design also made it impossible for the car to achieve high speed, hence the invention of its wildcard version. Different brands have different modifications to the Lotus 7. You may have heard of the Caterham 7. This is the most popular replica of Lotus 7 out there, and it is not hard to see why. The top spec gives you a 2-liter supercharged Ford Duratec with 310 horsepower. Now, this version sells well for more than $30,000, But if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, try the low-cost version of the Lotus 7 alternatives. A version inspired by a DIY book bent on assembling cars for the lowest car possible. The project uses junkyards, motorcycle parts, and the like to give you a Lotus 7 replica of your choice. You can get this car for $2 or $3 grand depending on the type and project. Thanks for joining us on this expensive trip through the top 7 cheap cars that drive like supercars. Subscribe to Autoverse for more exciting car content. Hit like, share your favorite car on the list, and stay tuned for our next Universal trip. Subscribe now for the latest updates.